Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Thursday evening, October 16, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you all like this video. I'd really appreciate it if you all get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the that's been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Taking a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center's 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook that just came out at 7:58 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:58 p.m. Jamaica time, we can see that we have two code yellows now. One right here off the east coast of the United States that has a 10% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 and the next 7 days, and another one right here across the main development region that has a 30% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days, a 10% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days. And if we take a look at the infrared close-up satellite imagery of the Atlantic, we can make out the clouds associated with that code yellow that has a low chance of development as it pushes east, and we can also make out the clouds associated with that tropical wave across the central main development region that has a low chance of development as it pushes towards the west into the Caribbean. If we take a look at the latest here from the Hurricane Center, let us zoom in and read. We don't have much people out there reading these things. We need to be reading. It states here, a tropical wave currently located over the central tropical Atlantic is associated with a large area of showers and thunderstorms. Some gradual development of this system is possible over the next several days as it moves westward at 15 to 20 miles per hour. Regardless of development, heavy rainfall and gusty winds are possible as the system moves across the Windward Islands late this weekend and enters the Caribbean Sea by early to middle part of next week. And we see that they've given the area a 10% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days and a 30% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. And we're still looking at what the supercomputer models are showing by the end of the next 7 days. So this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS only going out to at least 168 hours. So this is valid for 12Z on Thursday, October 23. So that's about 7 a.m. on Thursday, October 23. And this is where the Euro model has the system. We don't really see it crazy organized, just one big area of low pressure. We see the red L down in here to the far south of Jamaica with a lot of moisture, possibly spinning around all of this moisture into Jamaica from the southeast to the northwest around that center of circulation. We see a lot of greens into the yellows, into the oranges and reds. That represents what we see here on the key on the right. Some crazy inches of rainfall. So there could definitely be some isolated flash flooding if the system does not develop. The GFS still showing something a bit different, a bit slower, and a more, it looks like a weaker system for sure. Let me look back at the millibars. So 1008 millibars on the Euro. Well, it looks like it's a bit stronger. Usually the lower the millibars, the stronger the system, and we see a stronger entity right here. But we see that it's slower than what the Euro is showing for the same time period, 7 a.m. on Thursday, October 23. Still has the moisture to the south of the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. We'll say it actually plays out as we head out in time. Keep in mind that this is valid for Thursday, October 23. It's definitely coming together for sure. It's going to be very interesting to see how it all plays out. So that's next week, Thursday. And we know that if something should form off this tropical wave, the next name on the list is Melissa. That's if the one in the northern portion of North Atlantic doesn't acquire that name. If not, then the next name after Melissa is Nestor. Let's see if we actually get any of the two to form. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we see the blue spike lines across the northern portion of North Atlantic, one extending down to Hispaniola just to the north of Jamaica, associated with a frontal system, a trough in between all of this. We see another trough right here just to the west of the ridge of high pressure, a tropical wave right here, another tropical wave right here, this one that has the low chance of development, as they all push westward, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure right here to the north. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before we lost sunlight, we can make out the clouds associated with that frontal system. Still bring a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity to portion of the Cayman Islands, Cuba, Jamaica, Hispaniola, and we see it extending all the way up into the northern portion of North Atlantic. The tropical wave right here and the other one just to the east of it that has a low chance of development within the next 7 days. Both of them being steered from east to west, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure right here to the north, and we can definitely make out the clouds associated with the trough just to the northwest of the high pressure dome. We will be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Thursday, October 16, 2025. It was stated that rainfall could have been in the forecast for parts of some eastern, central, and western parishes, as well as especially northern parishes, during Thursday afternoon. I know that eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, and St. Andrew. Central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, and St. Catherine. Our western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? At around 2:05 p.m., the visible satellite images as well as the infrared satellite imagery were posted on our social media platforms. On our X page, and our X page is at Weather Jamaica. On our Instagram page, we're talking about weather.jamaica. On our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we can see the clouds that were building across section of the island, especially the eastern, the central, and the western parishes for sure. We definitely got on the thunderstorm activity. At first, we saw the clouds building, especially across sections of Westmoreland into sections of St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew. And we saw that it wasn't even more focused on the north coast at all. It was just eastern, central, and western parishes for sure. It looks like the brunt of the activity was across the south. We definitely had some thunderstorm activity across sections of St. Mary, Portland, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Thomas, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland for sure. And even by the end of it all, we were starting to get on some isolated thundershower activity across sections of Hanover into St. James. And we can see the visible that showed the cloud cover, all of the convection building across the island, pushing from west to east. I mean, look at the flow of the clouds pushing in from northwest to southeast, and then we had all of the activity building and then pushing off towards the east. Definitely had some decent thunderstorm activity in my part of St. Thomas this afternoon, and I'm definitely grateful for the cool down. As you can see here, even looks like we're still getting some thunderstorm activity across Hanover into St. James, Westmoreland, Trelawney. Well, all of the thunderstorm activity from earlier today is being pushed off towards the east right here, still affecting section of Portland, but the brunt of the activity is right here just to the east of Portland, with some areas still getting on some overcast skies, if not some isolated light to moderate rainfall. I'm definitely still hearing that rainfall pitter patter outside my doorway as we speak. And if we take a look at the infrared, we can see that light to moderate rainfall in the greens and yellows across section of the south and the eastern ends of the island. And at the end of it all, we saw the rain bands that brought some moderate to heavy rainfall. This section of Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, some of it spilling into section of Trelawney as well. And we definitely have the live camera here from See Jamaica's YouTube channel, confirming that rainfall in the halfway tree area today. We see the time 4:18 p.m. people walking about with their umbrellas, windshield wipers definitely on these vehicles, and the roads are soaking wet, just to confirm that we definitely got in on some moderate rainfall in halfway tree today. And if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams all for you all to view for free, so subscribe today to this channel so that you don't miss out. Taking a look at the total accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map does indeed paint quite the picture of how we had that rainfall today across sections of some eastern, central and western parishes. And we definitely have some comments that came in from some of our followers today. We have Jerome stating rain and thunder is here doing its thing in Kingston. We also had some comment on our YouTube page. We had Michael Forbes stating thunder late afternoon, steady rain since after 4 p.m. in Kingston 3. Sandra Brown stating lightning and thunder in Greater Portmore, also rain. Active 4081 showing the rain and the thunderstorm emojis in his part of the island, that's Clarendon. We have Audrey Jackson stating sunshine in the hills of St. James. Thunder can be heard rolling though. That was 3 hours ago. Justin Forbes stating raining hard right now. Tanra Lee Young stating moderate rainfall southeast St. Elizabeth. Jasnet Orr stating thank you for your information. You're welcome. We also have Newly Taylor stating 247 in St. Elizabeth and it's overcast and thunder rumbling. Mitchell Barrett stating St. Catherine overcast and thunder lightning. We also have Marcia with the heart emoji. I love you too, Marcia. We have Bruce Orville Chunk stating Kingston having thunder and lightning, no water yet. Latoya Taylor stating getting a little bit of rain. We also have Paulette Stevenson stating at the moment in St. Catherine it's raining, the thunder is barking, the lightning is very, very scary to say the least. We also have Trisha Jolly stating Hanover, rain started. Lance Brown stating rain in Port Esquivel. Jasnet Orr stating thank you, you're welcome. We have Paulette Stevenson stating St. Catherine still overcast, guys. Kimar Smith, rain at their town right now, not falling hard at the moment. Even on our Instagram page, we had the comments coming in. Edward Senisha stating rain for days in South Manchester. Eloquent Design stating Kingston well overcast with lightning and thunder. We also have R_Mona_GH_CA stating heavy rains in Kingston. Stunner Girl stating raining in Bogwalk hard. We have Tevi24 stating Linstead have rain for days. Sapphire Steam stating raining in Portmore. We have Shelley and Foray stating Portmore with the rain and thunderstorm emoji. Keisha Lay stating Kingston getting rain. We have Sound_Hennessy_International stating rain in St. James 1876. Bay stating rain in Kingston. Even on our Instagram page, well, our TikTok page, where the comments coming in as well. We have It's_Shorty stating raining in St. Thomas now. We have John stating saw some lightning, heard some thunder and rainfall in Bogwark, St. Catherine. We also had Katie and Martin stating hi with the Jamaica. We get some nice rain in St. Catherine Central Village, place cool. Thank you all for confirming what the weather was like in your area for today. Alright, so let us reload the very latest still image from the Weather Nerds website, the latest Jamaican Doppler radar image, the latest Cuban Doppler radar image, the latest Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar image, and the latest Cayman radar image. We want to see exactly what's taking place across the island right now. And the latest still image from the Weather Nerds website is showing 0005 UTC, which is actually 7:05 p.m. So this just came out 11 minutes ago, considering that it is 7:16 p.m. right now. And as you can see, yes, we have those clouds across sections of Hanover, Westmoreland, Northwestern St. Elizabeth, Trelawney, to highlight that we definitely got in on some evening or some late afternoon to some early evening thunderstorms across sections of those areas. And we still have some leftover clouds from what took place across sections of the island today, across sections of southern Clarendon, southeastern St. Catherine. We also have some cloud cover across sections of Portland into St. Thomas right here. Just to confirm that we definitely got some rainfall across the island. But do we actually have some rainfall still underneath all of this? We definitely have some rainfall right here to the east of Portland. Some rainfall right here to the south of Kingston and St. Thomas. But do we actually have rainfall on land across these areas? Let us see the latest Jamaican Doppler radar imagery. Alright, so the latest Jamaican Doppler radar imagery is showing 2356 Z. This is actually 6:56 p.m. So this just came out, 18 plus 4, that's about 22 minutes ago, considering that it is 7:18 p.m. right now. And yes, we still see the greens into the yellows that represent some moderate to some slightly heavy rainfall across section of Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, into Westmoreland. And we still have some rain bands. Definitely some light to slightly moderate rain bands across section of Portland, St. Mary, well, more so Portland into St. Thomas, Kingston, maybe south of Kingston, maybe even spilling into section of St. Catherine as we speak. And if we take a look at the latest Cuban Doppler radar image, the latest imagery is as of 8:10 p.m. So this is actually 7:10 p.m. So that just came out 8 minutes ago, considering that it is 7:18 p.m. right now. And just like what we saw in the satellite imagery and the Jamaican Doppler radar, we're seeing the greens into the yellows. They represent some light to moderate to even some slightly heavy rainfall across sections of Westmoreland, St. James, Trelawney, Hanover, section of St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrews, St. Thomas, and Portland as we speak. And the latest Guantanamo Bay U.S. Naval radar confirming that rainfall just to the east of Portland, that heavy rainfall. Look at the dark greens into the yellows, into the gold. Some decent rainfall over there. You also see that rainfall across sections of Portland into eastern St. Thomas. And if we take a look at the latest here from the Cayman radar, we see that rainfall that we just mentioned across section of Westmoreland into eastern Hanover, St. James, and Trelawney. We also see some rainfall right here just to the east of the Cayman Islands. Taking a look at what's taking place right now across the crossroads area, we can see people in their vehicles going about their business, people walking about going about their business. The streets definitely glistening to highlight that we definitely got in on some decent rainfall across sections of crossroads today. But as you can see, we're definitely seeing all the lights just to confirm that we're not getting in on much in the way of crazy rainfall at all at this time. So I'm guessing that the conditions should clear out as we head through the evening into the nighttime hours. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see we have 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 27 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Friday, temperature should dip down to about 25 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for AT&Z on Friday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Friday, and we can see Jamaica right here embedded in the grays and the yellows. That represents average to at least 1 degree Celsius above average temperatures. I know the average temperature for the month of October across Jamaica is around 89 degrees Fahrenheit, and when that's converted to degrees Celsius that we use here in Jamaica, that's around 31.6 degrees Celsius. So given that we're going to be receiving up to at least 1 degree Celsius above average, it should be anywhere from 31.6 to 32.6 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Friday. And we're grateful that we don't see any maintenance outage advisories here from my JPS online Twitter page, because you know that we have to highlight these, because we know that when we're power outages somewhere across the island, it can definitely make the heat feel even worse because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So nothing to see here, no outages expected on Friday at all. And we have some tips right here to beat the heat. As usual, if tomorrow is going to be a bit too hot for you, it states here, dress down, wear lightweight clothing and use sunscreen. Check on others, including children, elderly people with medical conditions, and pets. Be cool, stay indoors and make use of fans and air conditioners. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Limit non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day. And I cannot stress enough the importance of keeping hydrated throughout the day. Drink lots of water even if you're not thirsty, and put away those sugar drinks and drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. The yellows, the oranges, the reds, and the whites within those reds. And we see a lot of dry air right here, just to the north of Cuba and Hispaniola. A lot of dry air out to sea, more than likely. And that is usually the case right behind a cold front for sure. A lot of dry air, dry, cool, sinking air, and we see a lot of that as well across portion of the northern main development region right here off the coast of Africa. While we see a lot of moist air where we have the tropical waves, a lot of moist air across where we have the frontal systems and the Caribbean into the eastern Pacific. Notice wherever we have the moist air in the blue, we have a lot of clouds in the grays, and wherever we have the clouds, that's where we have a lot of the rainfall to cool down the temperatures and keep water in our pipes. And we wish we had more of this throughout the year. Regarding the next 3 days, so we're heading into October 17, October 18, and October 19. And as you can see here, Jamaica should be in the clear in terms of the Saharan dust. There's some slight Saharan dust pushing through in the greens. Nothing to worry about. We won't even see the hazy skies across the eastern Caribbean at all, because you know that when we have the Saharan dust, it can cause hazy skies, not to mention trigger respiratory illnesses in some persons. So we're indeed grateful that the Saharan dust has dwindled. Don't see any crazy oranges into the pinks that represents a vigorous plume at all these days. The wave forecast for tomorrow still showing those light shades of blues into blues, extending from the Western Caribbean to the Central and the Eastern Caribbean. That represents what we see here on the key on the bottom, anywhere from 0.5 for meter wave height to 1 meter wave height, and that's because of the winds that are expected. Very weak winds. We see a lot more blues that represent little to no wind across the Central to the Southern Caribbean. More of a southeasterly to kind of a southerly flow across the Eastern Caribbean. Look at the flow in and around Jamaica. Very interesting. Either way, we're talking about anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15 knots at most across the Caribbean. But zooming in on Jamaica regarding our wave forecast, 0.2 for meter wave height expected to the north of Portland tomorrow, to the north of St. Anne 0.3 for meter wave height, to the north of Hanover 0.4 for meter wave height, to the south of Westmoreland 0.3 for meter wave height, to the south of Clarendon 0.2 for meter wave height expected, while to the south of St. Thomas we have 0.2 for meter wave height expected as well. And that's because of the winds that we're expecting on Friday. We see more of a, looks like a northeasterly, if not a northeasterly kind of flow on the north coast tomorrow. More of a southerly kind of flow on the south coast tomorrow. Tomorrow is looking to be a very interesting day. Look at where the air is piling up across sections. It looks like some northern parishes. It looks like some eastern, central, western, and especially northern parishes for sure. So that is where we could have some of these low-level clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper-level cumulonimbus clouds during the afternoon, because of these 6-knot winds, weak winds from the northeast. What is this to the south of St. Thomas? That's 7-knot winds right here to the south of St. Thomas. Winds are very weak, so definitely favoring more afternoon rainfall for sure across the island. And the upper-level wind shear still coming in from the northeast tomorrow, so those cloud tops will be pushed off towards the southwest across the island, especially some southern parishes, bringing us more rainfall, if not overcast skies. And the actual rainfall forecast maps confirm this. This map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both valid for 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 1 p.m. Jamaica time. And we see the blues that represent rainfall across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. So look out if you're in these parishes for Friday afternoon. We're talking about Hanover, Westmoreland, St. James, St. Elizabeth, especially the border of St. James into northern St. Elizabeth, the border of the border of Trelawney, southern Trelawney into northern Manchester. Some crazy rainfall we see there, some dark blues into the greens, even into sections of northern Clarendon and southwestern St. Anne. We also see rainfall expected for portions of St. Anne into northern St. Catherine, St. Mary into St. Andrew, Portland into St. Thomas again. So look out for that. Some afternoon rainfall once again across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. And even the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps here from the Euro and the GFS that are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Friday are showing that there's going to be rainfall within the next 24 hours. The Euro going into the yellows, into the oranges, and the reds represents close to an inch of rainfall, to at least 0.55 for an inch of rainfall in St. Mary here. GFS even more robust than that, heading up into the reds, very close to an inch, 0.93 of an inch of rainfall in Trelawney. We'll see it actually plays out, and whatever happens, we'll definitely take it, because we're in the month of October. And in St. James, whose bar graph is being shown right here, we usually receive up to 199 millimeters of rainfall this month. That's about the same as 7.8 inches of rainfall. While in Westmoreland, we usually receive up to 159 millimeters of rainfall this month. It's about the same as 6.3 inches of rainfall. And if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for the month of October or for the entire year, you can visit nomadseason.com, and that website will show you that information. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us according to the latest Euro and GFS supercomputer model runs that came out today. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp right here at the top as we go to the next 168 hours. Keep your eyes focused on Jamaica right here as we look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. The reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens represents inches of rainfall. So let's see what's going to be taking place. So this is valid for 12 on Saturday, so that's 7 a.m. We see some moisture to the north of Jamaica in the green, some moisture across the eastern end of the island as well. And then on Saturday afternoon, look at that moisture across the eastern, central, and western parishes. What do we see on the GFS? Do we have agreement? The GFS is even more robust, having rainfall encompassing and surrounding the entire island from the eastern end to the western end, the north coast to the south coast. Then on Saturday afternoon, we're seeing that rainfall, just like on the Euro, across second of eastern, central, western parishes for the same time period, 18Z on Saturday, that's 1 p.m. Then, what do we see on Sunday morning? Sunday morning, we're seeing an increase in moisture across the southern and eastern end of the island of Jamaica. That's on the Euro. Then on Sunday afternoon, we're seeing rainfall once again across the eastern, central, and western parishes. What does the GFS show? Sunday morning, rainfall across the western end, rainfall across the southeast. Then on Sunday afternoon, we're seeing that rainfall across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes once again. What do we see on Monday morning? On Monday morning, we're seeing rainfall out west. Then on Monday afternoon, we're seeing that rainfall across sections of some central and western parishes. What do we see on the GFS? Monday morning, rainfall to the north of us, rainfall across the far eastern end. Monday afternoon, rainfall across central and western parishes, just like on the Euro. So we have agreement with Monday afternoon. What do we see on Tuesday morning? Tuesday morning, don't really see much of anything across Jamaica, but we're starting to see that tropical wave come into play right here to the south of Puerto Rico and Hispaniola. What do we see on Tuesday afternoon on the Euro? Maybe some isolated shores across section of the eastern, central, and western end. What do we see on the GFS? Tuesday morning, rainfall across the north coast. Tuesday afternoon, rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. The GFS still having that system closer to the Lesser Antilles than where the Euro has it. Then on Wednesday morning, what do we see? The moisture associated with the system to the south of Haiti and Dominican Republic, just to the southeast of Jamaica. Then on Wednesday afternoon, the moisture starting to come into portion of Jamaica and affect us by that time. And then we're stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So the end of the next 7 days, this is valid for Thursday, October 23, just like what we showed earlier. The broad area of low pressure to the south of us, that low pressure spin sending a lot of moisture into Jamaica from the southeast. Look at the dark greens into the yellows, oranges, and reds. GFS, just like what we stated earlier. First of all, moisture to the south of us, to the north of us, to the west of us on Wednesday morning. Then on Wednesday afternoon, we're seeing moisture across the eastern, central, and western parishes. Then we're stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours, just like what the Euro was showing. So Thursday, October 23. Clearly, the GFS is slower. The Euro is faster, has the system affecting Jamaica by Thursday, October 23. GFS has the system slower right here to the south of Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. Even stronger entity right here with the yellows, oranges, reds, and the red L. Very interesting. We'll say it actually plays out. We know that these models are forever changing, so we have to take these forecasts with a grain of salt. This is not exactly what's going to be taking place, so we have to stay updated to see it actually unfolds. And regarding the total accumulated precipitation for the next 7 days, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until Thursday, October 23. And we're seeing the Caribbean getting very messy. A lot of dark reds into the purples and the pinks that represents what we see here on the key on the right. That's the 2 to 5 inches of rainfall or more, maybe even up to 8 inches of rainfall for portions of the Caribbean. The usual rainfall totals for Northern South America into Central America for sure. GFS even more robust with the rainfall totals right here, extending from the Windward Islands into Puerto Rico, because that is where the GFS has the system going, rather than where the Euro had it pushing into Jamaica just to the south of Haiti and Dominican Republic, which explains the rainfall totals here. Still uncertain regarding where the system is going. The Euro is still showing something different at the end of the next 7 days. The GFS a bit more east of there. We'll see it actually plays out. And regarding Jamaica's total accumulated precipitation for the next 7 days, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until Thursday, October 23. And we see the greens into the yellows into the oranges across section of Jamaica that represents anywhere from 50 millimeters of rainfall all the way up to 60 millimeters of rainfall. Some pinks out there to the north and the east of us, representing all the way up to 97 millimeters of rainfall. GFS also showing the yellows into the oranges that represents anywhere from 30 all the way up to maybe 60 millimeters of rainfall across section of the island over the next 7 days. We'll see it actually plays out, and whatever happens, I will definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs if God spares life. Regarding what's taking place across the rest of the Caribbean, so as stated, we have that frontal system definitely bringing some rainfall to portion of southeastern Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic. We have some moisture associated with that trough right here across section of the northeastern Caribbean. The tropical wave right here to the northeast of French Guiana, and that other tropical wave that has a chance of development as it pushes westward. And if we take a look at the area in and around Puerto Rico, the Doppler radar imagery, what's happening now? Some decent moderate to heavy rainfall to the south of Puerto Rico, to the north of there as well, affecting the US Virgin Islands, St. Martin getting in on some of the rainfall as well. So too Guadeloupe and the waters to the east and west of Dominica getting in on some rainfall. We also see some moisture right here affecting sections of Guadeloupe into Dominica, some light to moderate rainfall, some heavy rainfall right here to the east of Dominica. And the weather via Doppler radar imagery confirming all of this that we just saw on the Puerto Rico radar as well as the Barbados radar. We also see some rainfall across the Kingdom of Dominican Republic, some light to moderate heat or mist showers in and around Belize, some rainfall right here to the east of Nicaragua, some rainfall across Colombia, northwestern Venezuela. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Friday. And we see the greens into the yellows into the oranges and the reds that are representing anywhere from 0.1 of an inch of rainfall to an inch of rainfall expected for a portion of the Yucatan, the Cayman Islands, southeastern Cuba, Jamaica, some greens, just some isolated traces, a portion of Florida into the Bahamas, section of Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin, Montserrat, Anguilla, St. Barts, Antigua and Barbuda into Guadeloupe, getting in on some rainfall. And we also see some rainfall for a portion of Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana, Venezuela, the ABC Islands, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Belize, Yucatan definitely getting in on some of that. And we clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in agreement with this forecast. And that when they're in agreement like this, the chances are higher for it to actually take place. Regarding what's taking place across the Eastern Pacific, as you can see here, we're still watching that code orange, something that has a medium chance of development within the next 7 days. Pushing west-northwestward just to the south of Mexico, now has a 50% chance, and we see the clouds, showers, and thunderstorms associated with it right here to the south of Mexico. We know that if it should acquire a name, the next name after Raymond is Sonia. Sonia is next in line. Regarding what's taking place across the Indian Ocean and the Western Pacific, nothing to see here. Indian Ocean, no suspect areas. Western Pacific, however, that code yellow that we've been watching to the east of the Philippines is now upgraded to a code orange, so now it has a medium chance of development within the next 7 days. We see the shower and thunderstorm activity associated with it. Definitely trying to get its act together to become the next name system here on the Western Pacific side of things. We'll see it actually plays out as time goes on. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.